Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You're tuning in to another edition of the Sports Shot 27. I'm your host, Jermaine Cota. To the far right, my co-host, Kevin Johnson, KJ. And in the middle, today's special guest, former Clemson University wide receiver. Before Sammy Watkins, he had all the records. He had all the burns. He had all the hands. He was the eyeball test at Clemson
Yeah,
University, right? He's
go
from,
up and get it, baby.
yes,
Yes,
sir. He
sir.
goes up and get it. Um, he
Yeah.
also played for the Atlanta Falcons and also played overseas in the CFL. Former Clemson wide receiver Aaron Kelly. What's good, Aaron?
And Kelly!
Y'all doing, man? Appreciate the intro. That was
Good.
Yeah,
nice.
doing good, man.
I
So
appreciate
glad
it.
to have you,
Appreciate it,
man.
bro.
Yeah, no
Yep.
problem.
For the people that don't know you, let them know where you're from and a little bit about your background.
Well, I'm from Marietta, Georgia. I went to Walton High School here in Georgia in East Cobb. It's if you don't know where Marietta is, right outside of Atlanta. Um,
Yep.
Went to obviously, I went to Clemson and played football there. Had a great time at Clemson. Went undrafted to the Falcons, and then played a little arena ball, and then I played like 7 years up in Canada.
Cool, man. Cool.
That's what's up. Yeah.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna ask you is so what age you start playing football, man? And was football your first love or was it another sport?
I started playing football when I was like at least 7 years old. Um, the
Dang.
first sport I actually played was baseball. Um, and then I have a twin brother. I have a twin brother and an older brother, and they both played football. So I played baseball. Then both my brothers played football, and I watched them play, and I was like, man, I missed out. So then I played the year after, and then played basketball as well. But I mean, yeah, I mean, I always loved playing football. I've got a cousin that he played at Alabama. Yeah, he went to the NFL, won a Super Bowl, all that. So just to grow up watching him, he actually played on the same team as Dabo. Um, he was the MVP of that championship in '92 that Dabo talks about. He was actually the MVP of that game. So football runs deep.
Oh, cool, cool. So what position did you play in baseball?
That's good.
Oh, I was a pitcher and first
Ooh,
base. If I knew it was gonna grow like this,
I know, right?
might have stuck with it, man. I remember walking out to football every day, man. They'd be out there before us, and, man. We'd be out there like 2.5, almost 3 hours. We come back, they still be out there, but don't look like they broke a sweat. I was like, I don't know, I might have picked the wrong one, man. They're killing us out here. They just look like they're cruising out there at baseball.
Yeah.
Cool, man. So,
Mhm.
so football, out of the two sports, football became your favorite.
Yeah, I mean, really, I played basketball as well. I mean, I lettered in basketball as well. I probably
Yeah.
liked basketball the best, but I tell people I was the best at football. So that's where
Okay,
I ended up, getting a scholarship. I had some small scholarship offers in basketball, but nothing like football.
I understand.
That's what's
All right.
Mhm.
So talk about growing up in Marietta. Did you play direct lead? Started off there, then went to middle school, high school. Tell us a little bit about the development stages and the coaches that kind of put you in the realm to get to high school play to get to that 5-star recruit.
Um, well,
yeah.
I played. I mean, we call it pound ball. I don't even know if they still do pound ball now, but
All right.
that's what it started as. We played pound ball like right near my house in East Cobb. I mean, back then, I don't know if they do it now. A lot of it's like regulated through the high schools now. They kind of fall in line. But back then, you could play wherever. Coaches after we played, me and my brother played a couple years. Coaches, hey man, come down, play for us. We'll pay for everything. Like you just have to come out and play. My mom wasn't going for none of that. So like, y'all gonna stay right here close. But they had some pretty good coaches. I was fortunate enough to have some pretty good coaches coach us back then. Some of the coaches were guys that kind of stayed there forever, and kind of the same for middle school. We had like some guys that have been coaching, 20 plus years, like in the middle school program. They just love doing it. So we're pretty fortunate there. And then, like I said, I had family members that played football. So growing up, I'd go to Alabama games. And, while he was rehabbing during that time, his name was Derek Lassick. He came, and I remember before my senior year, I had no offers, nothing like that. He worked me and my brother out, kind of like, this is all we got, And the crazy part, about my story, and I tell people, is when I started high school, I was 5'5", didn't weigh 100 pounds, and by the time I ended my senior year, I was 6'5". So I mean, like, I tell people all the time, and coaches too, I was like, you can't judge a kid, when he's a freshman. And a lot of this, they get into like coming to high school, have kids moving, schools and doing all this crazy stuff because they want to play. I was like, you can't judge a kid early, so you just got to keep working and working and working, just make the most of your opportunities. Because, like I said, I mean, I played a little bit as a junior, but, I maybe caught like 8, 9, literally 9 passes my whole junior year, and 5 of them came in the first game. I mean, like, it was a struggle, but I was like, I got 1 year, I'm dedicate myself. I'm gonna do everything I have to do to put myself in the position to be the best and get an opportunity. So I tell people, especially high school, it only takes 1 year to get yourself on the map, and then you just make the most of your opportunities.
Yeah. Hey, so what athlete you looked up to when you was younger, man, to help you out with your craft?
At first, I'm saying, it was my cousin. His name was Derek Lassick. Okay. I mean, we watched him. Literally, we go to his games at Alabama, watch him play. He was a running back. And then one of his college roommates, his name was Curtis Brown. Once I got into college, he kind of helped me because he played wide receiver. He kind of helped me my senior year, helped me kind of fine tune my skills to kind of differentiate myself from everyone else.
Dang, he did a good job, man.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So, what position did you play in basketball in high school? Was it center or power forward?
Man, I told you I grew, man. I started as a point guard, and I kind of went slowly down the line as I grew up. I mean, I was kind of mad toward the end. I was playing like power forward and center. I'm like, man, I played guard my whole life, But so yeah, I played, because of the size. I mean, no one else by the end was as tall as I was. But I started as a point guard and kind of shifted shoot guard to small forward to, guard and center. I mean, I didn't really have any center skills, but I guarded the centers and stuff like that my senior year.
Yeah. Hey, between football and basketball, y'all win any state titles or anything like that?
Unfortunately, no. Basketball, we weren't that good. Football, we were good. I mean, we were kind of building, and the school's gotten better and better. My senior year, we went undefeated. We went 10-0. We won the region. And unfortunately, we lost in the second round. A game, I still have nightmares about it. You ask anyone that played high school, they all remember their last game. I mean, because it's
me too.
Yeah, you play with your guys you grew up with. I mean, we all remember that last game, and unfortunately, we didn't get it done. But we had a really good team. I mean, like I said, we won. That's good. We won the region for the first time, being undefeated. It was the first undefeated regular season our high school ever had.
Nice.
Cool. So, who were some of your school's rivals back then in high school in Marietta?
There was a school right down the street, Pope High School. It's funny because now my son's going to go to Pope High School because we moved across the line. But some of our schools, like the middle schools, are divided. So a little bit of the middle school will go to Pope and a little bit will go to Walton. So, like, growing up, depending on where you live, and like I said, as you got older, you kind of played under the high school. So you'd see the kids. It's funny, like literally go to school with the kids, and then you'd have to play them on Saturday. I mean, that was the best. I mean, a lot of trash talking, going back and forth, and getting to do that. Yeah. So, like, they were kind of a rival, and then the school down the street, Wheeler, was a rival as well. Once you kind of get older, they were really good at basketball. So we knew we had to get them at football because basketball was, it was going to be tough. Those are probably some of the bigger ones, and the school's grown and grown. So, I mean, they've even – now they're like my high school was 7A classification. It was only 5A then, so you can see all the growth that's going on.
Cool. Did
up,
you
man.
play any?
So,
I was just going to say,
yeah,
did you play both sides of the ball, or you just played one position in football?
When I was younger, and in high school, you always play two positions. I played some corner, and as I grew, I kind of grew out of corner. I played a little safety, but our defense was pretty good. They had guys that played there. So my senior year, I just played wide receiver.
Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
You guys subscribe. Make sure you hit the notification button on YouTube. We have wide receiver, former Clemson wide receiver standout, Aaron Kelly. Just drop your comments below. We'll answer any questions you have. So, Aaron, you get to your senior year. Did you play in any AllStar games or anything like that, Under Armour or anything?
No, man. I was supposed to play in I don't know if y'all remember the Florida-Georgia game.
Yeah.
Supposed to play in that game, and it got canceled that year. Like, we had the North-South Georgia game, but I actually got invited to the Florida-Georgia game, and unfortunately got canceled that year. I mean, and I was excited to play. I mean, watched a bunch of people before playing that game, and I just was kind of excited to see, because you want to know how you measure up, right? I mean,
exactly.
That's right.
I thought it was great, in the state of Georgia. I mean, I was all county, all region, all state. And it's funny, the other all-state receiver was Calvin Johnson. It was actually all-state as well. There was only two receivers, so it was me and Calvin Johnson that were all-state, and some of us were slated to play in that game, and it wasn't played that year.
Wow, that would have been a great time to watch.
Oh, yeah.
Got two premier receivers, both ACC commits. So, did you room with any other receivers? Did y'all actually just go down there for the weekend, or was it just like a one-game experience?
No, we didn't get to do any of it, man. I mean, for some reason, they didn't play it that year, so missed out on that whole experience. Because I remember when I actually went to Clemson. I mean, guys were talking. They ended up, I think, the Florida team ended up playing some team out of Texas or something like that. I think they played or California, Florida game or something like that year.
Okay.
And some of the guys on the team from Florida actually played in the game. And I was like, y'all just ducked us because you didn't want to take that. You don't want to take that L.
You take that L. Yeah,
that's what's up, man.
Yeah, man. Hey, so coming out of high school, man. What schools did you turn down, and why you chose Clemson?
I had scholarship offers from most of the ACC schools, Georgia Tech, South Carolina, obviously Clemson, NC State, Vanderbilt, Duke. I mean, part of my recruiting, I tell people, like, I got my first offer after my second game in high school. Literally had no offers. My second game, one of our linemen had committed to Vanderbilt. So Wake Forest came to recruit him to see if they could get him to come there. And they watched our game, and they offered me, actually it was after the first game, they offered me a scholarship. And you kind of know how it goes. Like, once you get that first one, then they come in. Like I said, my cousin played with Dabo at Alabama. He's a receiver coach, and he was kind of telling about me. And they watched my second game. They offered me off my second game. Because Dabo was like, man, what is this tall kid doing returning kicks? I returned like 3 or 4 punts for touchdowns that year, and I had 2 kickoff return touchdowns. And so he saw me do that. I caught a couple bombs, and he was like, man, you got great body control, you're returning kicks. I can tell, you got some skill. So, I mean, again, like I tell people all the time, like, you just got to seize the moment. You got to, make the most of your opportunities. When you get a chance, you just got to make the most of it.
That's right, man. Yeah.
Cool. So you get to Clemson your freshman year. Who's the player that take you under their wing?
There was a few. I mean, there's a few good guys there. I'm gonna tell people, like, on my recruiting visit. Tony Elliott's now obviously the offensive coordinator at Clemson. He actually hosted me on a recruiting visit. Derek Hamilton was still there. He actually left in. I got to meet him, Kevin Youngblood. I mean, that's part of the reason why I went to Clemson. In high school, if we threw the ball more than 10 times, like, I mean, that was a big game as far as throwing. So, I mean, but if they threw it 10, I was getting 9. But, you know, I go to Clemson. I mean, I'm looking at the stats, and it's like, I think Youngblood had like 70 catches. Derrick Hamilton had 66 catches. I mean, Tony Hill, I think he had 40 or 50.
Yeah.
Another guy had 30. I was like, man, they can't come here and eat. I mean, I don't know what to do. You know, some of the other schools that recruited me, they were running the ball a lot. I was like, I can't live through that again. I went to it's probably 2003 when Clemson upset Florida State, and I was actually at that game, and I just remember watching the game. I mean, they were bombing it down the field, and I said, man, I got to get here. I mean, I can. You know, they throw it that many times. I know I'm going to do something with it. So watching the game, the atmosphere, it was just amazing. I mean, I grew up with SEC football going to Alabama games and, you know, not knowing much about the ACC, but I was like, man, this is the type of atmosphere, you know, I want to play in and be a part of. And it wasn't far from home. It was far enough away not to be right down the street, but close enough, you know, if I needed to go do something, I could do that. So, I mean, I just fell in love with it too. Like, classes were smaller, you know what I'm saying? Always thought about also being a student athlete, you know. I mean, I'm not like a genius, you know. Some of these schools, like, it's tough to get in a lot of these schools now, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, let me get at least in some classes, rooms that are smaller. Like, if I need a little extra help, you know, I'm not afraid to talk to a teacher, you know, to do what I got to do. But it just had a good balance of both. So that's why I really like Clemson.
What's up, man? Yeah. Hey, so what was your favorite? I know you had a lot of routes to run, man. I know you had a favorite that you like, you know what I'm saying? So you can destroy the defensive backs. And who was the hardest defensive back you had to face at the same time?
Probably, I mean, I like running probably like the deep post was probably my favorite.
Ooh, yeah.
You know, obviously the go route, but I like the deep post because a lot of times they kind of move that safety over the top and kind of hurt you. That post, you can beat both of them.
That's right.
I don't think you could even come with a double coverage.
Especially that cover too. Yeah, for real.
That's right. I can still go out and get it. So that was probably it. The best corner, you know, I played a lot of good ones.
A lot of corners, yeah, I know it, man. That's probably a hard question for you, man. But I know it's a lot of competition for you. You know what I mean? But you, at the end, you destroyed them.
Oh yeah,
for real.
I mean, Bradley Flowers, Virginia Tech, he was really tough. You know,
okay.
We did light him. I did light him up though. I mean, you can go back.
Yeah, I know you did.
I know him first time I met him later, you know, afterward. But he's probably one of the best. You know, we played Alabama. You know, they always have some good corners there.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
But probably Bradley Flowers. He's probably the best that we played. You know, Cam Chancellor was on that team. I mean, they had a really good defense there. But he was probably the best.
Was Macho Harris on that team too?
He was there as well.
Yeah, he was a big
Actually
kid.
Played him
corner.
Again in Canada as well. But
you did? That's what's up, man.
Yeah,
cool. So talk about the offense that you had at Clemson, man. You guys had a nice backfield, nice offense. Talk about some of the star players that you played with on Clemson. And you guys had a great offense that year.
Yeah, Jacoby Ford.
Oh yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
We had some guys, man. Like I said, it was kind of like a different wave kind of coming in because it started, like I said, with all those receivers that I talked to you about before, but they were all kind of leaving, which kind of, in a red shirt, and after that, it kind of left it open. I mean, Aries Curry was there, you know.
That's right.
Talk about some speed, seeing some speed while I was at Clemson. I mean, Aries Curry's track star. I mean, they played receiver. Ty Hill, you know, he ran 4.3. Both these guys ran 4.3 at the combine. Jacoby Ford was there. I'm talking about I watched him run the 60 meters and beat guys that were in the Olympics. You know, I mean, I saw some real speed. And then, you know, you got C.J. Spiller was there. And then next year, James Davis came in the backfield. I mean, we just had some offensive firepower. And like defensively, too. I mean, when people sleep on, like, talk about corners getting better in practice. Justin Miller was there.
Oh, yeah.
I already mentioned Ty Hill. you talk about some other guys that might not be his name, like Crescent Butler. He played in the NFL a while. I mean, like, there's just a bunch of guys that kind of get better. Michael Hamlin, Chris Clemens. I mean, these are all guys that all play in the NFL, and that's the guys that we win against year in and year out. And then, my first year with Charlie Whitehurst, I mean, he was, played in the league a long time, from Georgia as well. Will Proctor was my second year playing, and then finished with Colin Harper. Just a lot of talent. We never could quite – we're always missing, like, one piece, clicking-wise to kind of put it all together. But which I hate. Like, I mean, one year was, like, defense. Like, we had it, and, a guy one of our linebackers went down and it messed up the whole thing. My senior year, it was kind of like the offensive line was real young. We lost all those seniors that played the year before, and then we had all this firepower, and then the offensive line was just young, so we kind of could never get it all together. Like yeah, but I mean, that's why I love seeing what's going on in Clemson now. People are kind of acting like we just now kind of had players, but I'm like, no, Clemson's had a lot of players. It's just being able to put it all together at one time. I think that's what Dabo's really done.
Yeah, good point. For real.
So how many bowl games did you play in while you were at Clemson?
We played in 4 bowl games. Should have been 5. My first year was when my redshirt year was the big fight that happened there in Clemson. I don't know if y'all remember that, but
yeah.
I'm still mad at South Carolina for that, because Lou Holtz went on and was like, "Oh, we're not gonna play in the bowl game," blah blah. Like, we needed that win to be bowl eligible, and it made us bowl eligible. And everyone, like your red shirt, they're like, "Man, if you go to the bowl game in your red shirt, it's the best time ever, because you're not really playing, but you still get to see." And I'm still mad because I didn't get to experience that. And Lou Holtz pulled out. He was like, we're going to pull out. And so we were kind of pressured into not playing that game. And that's probably the most time I've ever had off of football ever, because it was kind of limbo. Everyone was used to, going to bowl games and stuff like that. But so we went to Champs Sports Bowl, I think my freshman year, Music City Bowl, the Peach Bowl, and then we played in the Gator Bowl my last year.
It's good.
Cool, man. Well, I got some highlights I'm going to share with you real quick. For those that's watching, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification button. We have special guest, Clemson former wide receiver Aaron Kelly. You're going to have to excuse a little bit of cursing from Little John on the highlights. This is the music that Aaron picked for his highlights. So we're going to go ahead and let it rock, okay?
All right.
Yeah, man.
There's a lot of fuck niggas in the club tonight. Fuck them. But it's gonna be alright. Yeah. Cause me and my clique, we don't give a fuck. We don't give a fuck, nigga. Trick Daddy. Lil Jon. If you know that you can get it, let me know. I'm about to fuck my nigga. Let's go. If you know that you can get it, let me know. I'm about to fuck my nigga.
If you want some, come get some. Cause where I'm from, we so big on. And everybody knows somebody that knows somebody that knows something about it. And I want answers now. What, where, why? See, a lot of dudes like to act the fool now. Get on live, but that ain't my style. So who he gon' get and what he gon' do? Run up on me if you want to. Hot damn pressing his homies. And he's done up in front of his mama. I'm up the floor with him. And I kick in the door and let the go get him. I got fools that'll go get him. This for him and Pooh and them dudes that run with him.
If you know that you can get it, let me know. I'm about to fuck my nigga. Let's go. If you know that you can get it, let me know. I'm about to fuck my nigga. Let's go.
Gotta spit it for the murderers and the killers and the thugsters. They be fucking up the ballers and the dealers and the hustlers. Got me coming at you bogus in the VI while they bumping Lil Jon. I'm a Russian. It's a psycho nigga twister from Chicago, rolling with the Miami nigga that'll crush him. We already be looking for drama. If a nigga try to get into it with us, then we gotta get him. Feeling free from the torture that could never be true. And the penicillin, I'm telling you, trick, I'm finna steal him. Got me swinging Chrissy and Hennessy bottles in the club, and my thug homies going for your thriller. Don't get it twisted with that overnight celebrity. You better be scared of me in my city, I'm a killer.
If you know that you can get it, let me know. I'm about to fuck my nigga. Let's go. If you know that you can get it, let me know. I'm about to fuck my nigga. Let's go.
I ain't that rapper type of right, and I ain't that actor type of right. This off ain't in my script, I'm a player. You just a square Mustang, Hennessy, enemy, the whole industry's my enemy. And you ain't no kin to me or friend to me, bitch, don't pretend to be. See, I'm strictly for the thug, I'm for the street and straight out the hood. My MO is ghetto and I don't even need the gas for you booty cats. I'm straight out the county dead, trail 5, nigga, MIA. You ever come south of the border, first most born, you gon' get slaughtered.
Hey,
Why you look like Derek Hamilton in your uniform, bro? The way you move, catch the ball, y'all boys like almost on film look like the same player for real.
Yeah, that's what
I can tell y'all worked out together. Huh?
We really did, man. That's what Dabo used to say the same thing. When I, until I watched some film of him, I mean, I was like, yeah, I could see it. I could definitely see it. I mean, he was definitely a dynamic player, and that's why I wanted to be, man. I just wanted to come in and make plays the way he was making plays, and sometimes forget. I haven't seen that stuff in a while. Tell my kids about it and cousins and stuff. They don't really know. I'm like, I was telling you, I was pretty good. Now don't get it twisted. Now
I mean,
don't get it.
It take hard to go across that middle and go get it, and middle of the safety linebackers and come down with it. So kudos to you for that. So you go into your senior year. Did you get invited to a Senior Bowl?
I went to the Shrine Bowl my senior year. It was out there in Texas. We played the Shrine Bowl out there.
Okay. And talk about that experience a little bit before going into the draft.
It was a good experience. Actually played for Gene Stallings. He was actually the coach there. And again, it's funny because it's another Alabama connection. He actually my cousin's head coach, Dabo's coach as well, in Alabama. So it's just funny how things come full circle. And it's just a small world. It's funny how, those things kind of work out. But again, just seeing, how I could stack up against, other players, that were great in college and stuff like that. And, I had a good experience there and did well in practice and stuff like that. There's different write-ups. I'm not blowing smoke. I mean, I tell people now you can't lie anymore. People will Google you real quick. But, had a good experience down there.
Cool, man. Well, I got some footage for that. That time you were down there, participating in practice in the Shrine Bowl. So we can go ahead and cut to that real quick, and you let everybody know, like they say nowadays, that was no cap.
Exactly.
Expectations were high for Clemson in 2008, and Aaron Kelly was no exception. Which Kelly will show up on Sundays? The big play receiver of 2007 or the possession receiver of 2008? We'll examine that question on Draft Guys TV. Aaron Kelly is the all-time leading receiver in his school's history and in his conference's history. He also has experience returning kicks and punts. The foundation for any wide receiver is hands, and Kelly's got a good pair. The best predictor of success for a receiver, especially a big one, is having natural hands. When you watch Kelly catch the ball, it's the same every time, and you can tell he's not thinking about it. .6'4" receivers already have a large catch radius. Aaron Kelly's body control makes his even bigger. Kelly's body control allows him to execute the rare one-foot pogo stick jump spin to make this catch. Kelly's body control also translates when he's navigating the sideline. Aaron Kelly moves well for a tall receiver. Watch again as Kelly gets up to speed with a good get-off. Kelly's breaks are crisp, even though he's lanky, and he tracks the ball effortlessly. And for a big guy, he can motor after the catch.
You're watching Draft Guys TV here with Aaron Kelly, big wide receiver, Clemson. How's it going, man?
It's going pretty good. I mean, the first couple of days, putting the offense, head was kind of spinning. But now it's starting to slow down, kind of got the offense down. Now I can really just play.
One thing we've also noticed, you're a very natural hands catcher, high pointing the ball at its highest point, looking very good out there. How do you get that? How do you be such a natural receiver? Are you catching a lot of passes in the offseason?
Exactly. You practice. You work at it. I was taught to attack the ball. You work the jugs machine, keep the ball off your chest, or it'll hurt, you know. So, I mean, you just attack the ball. When you attack the ball, you have a better chance of catching the ball. I mean, even if you bobble a little bit, if you attack it out front, you'll have a second chance. You wait for it to get to your body, you're probably just going to drop it. So just try to attack the ball.
Aaron Kelly was a first-day pick heading into 2008, and he started looking like one again during Shrine Game practices. He could still end up being the rangy go-to guy that so many teams need in the NFL. For more information on Draft Guys TV, go to draftguys.com.
All right.
That's right.
So I know you remember that interview. You had looked good on film right there. I know the Falcons had you on the board. So I'll talk about that experience heading into Atlanta.
I mean, it's excited about it. I mean, you kind of heard some of the stuff they're talking about. You know, they had a great junior year. You know, one of probably the best seasons a receivers ever had at Clemson until we got a bunch of guys. It's like a factory now. But and then our senior year, like I said, the offensive line was real young. I mean, and it made it tough. It was tough to get anything down the field. Quarterback didn't really have a lot of time. It just made it a tough season. It kind of hurt everyone's draft stock. So, you know, draft day was a little sour. Honestly, it didn't go the way I really wanted to, but got a chance, you know, to stay home and go to the Falcons and work out there. You know, Matt Ryan was there. I remember talking to him. He's like, man, y'all, you know, I can't believe, you know, it was kind of cool being there with him and, you know, learning from some guys. Roddy White was there. Harry Douglas was there. You know, Finner, I don't know if you remember him. He's a longtime guy. He was there. So it's kind of cool learning from those guys. Fortunately, things didn't quite go the way I wanted. I got hurt while I was there and got let go. But it was definitely a great experience, you know, learning from a lot of those guys and learning the game and you know, just growing and kind of like a childhood dream, you know, being on an NFL team.
Yeah. Hey, you got to try with New Orleans
exactly.
too, right?
Yeah, I had a couple more I mean, it's just when you're undrafted, man, it's a numbers game after that. I mean, I've told a couple of people close to me this story. You know, even when New Orleans got tried out there, I tried Buffalo, Seattle, and then the last one I was supposed to go to Tampa. I got signed to go down there. A guy gets hurt. You know, then they're like, hey, man, I'm sorry. We don't have that roster spot anymore. We got to use it for something else. And, you know, that hurt. That was heartbreaking.
Yeah.
And so I was kind of waiting around trying to see what else was going on. And then I ended up going up to Canada and playing up there just, you know, because I love playing football. And, you know, I was just kind of tired of waiting around and kind of chasing it that way. And, you know, you start to get bills. So it's like, it's time to, you know, either, you know, go to the real, you know, what they call the real world or keep chasing and playing up there. But I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, it's definitely a business. Football is definitely a business, and the numbers just it just didn't work in my favor. But I still got to go up there in Canada and play some football up there, so that was a good experience as well.
So how was arena football? I know it's a lot different from playing outside. I also played too, man. It's just I thought it was like playing in the living room. You know, everything is real tight. You got that wall that can show you can go over there anytime, man.
Oh man,
It can be your last play too.
I did not like that arena ball, man. It's not made for someone like me. I mean, just like you said, everything was so tight. You know, I like to go get it. Like I told you, like I like the deep ball. I like to go get it.
Man. I need some space so I can go get it. Yeah, for real.
Man, I'd dig, turn around, like, oh man, I'm out there. I'm off the field. You know, like. So
Yep.
I played one season. The team was pretty good. We played out in Milwaukee. I mean, I tell people too, football, you know, it lets you experience different things. You know, This was back when arena ball. This is about 2009-ish. It had just gone under and it came back, and you know there wasn't a lot of money in it. You know, guys were playing either to get opportunity, or guys just playing because they love playing. You know, and still, you know, we traveled on buses, some planes, but it allowed you to see different cities. Like I'd never been to Utah. You know, went out and played in Utah, played in a bunch of basketball arenas. Like, you know, in Orlando, we played in, you know, Orlando's arena. You know, in Milwaukee, we played in the Bucks arena. You know, Tampa. You know, all these places. It's kind of cool to see different places, and you know, it's not the big budget, so we actually got to stay a night in the town. So unlike college, people are like, man, you got to play ball. I'm like, man, we went, we ate at the hotel, we played the game, we took it back home. You know, with football,
go back home. That's it.
Yeah, we actually got to see a little bit of the city. You know, got to experience different things. So, you know, the money and stuff wasn't there really like that, but you know, just the experience, just life experience, being able to say you saw different cities and saw different things, and you know, grow up as a man as well.
That's right.
Cool. Yeah. So after football, what is Aaron Kelly up to now?
I'm back here in Marietta where I grew up. I actually bought a house like 2 miles away from where I grew up.
All right.
I work for Frito-Lay.
Okay.
I work in sales there. I've been there for about 5 years. So I played until I was like 30, and then I've been here for about 5 years. So as soon as I was done, probably like I looked for a job, and I tell other people it's important who you know meet and stuff in college, because football doesn't work out, and even if it does work out, you're still gonna need these connections and people. You know, you gotta meet, you gotta politic, you gotta talk to people, and that's how I got my job. It was my roommate in college. You know, he was a regular student. His name's Trey Robinson. He's actually a sports agent now. But
cool.
You know, met him, talked to him. He knew a guy that knew a guy, and you know, sat down and interviewed with him. And that's kind of how I got the job. So I tell people like, while you're in school too, you know, these kids and students that you're going with that are asking you for your autograph, you never know what that might turn into later. That's why you treat everyone with respect and nice and all that, because you never know what that's going to turn into later in life.
Yeah, there you go. So, what is Aaron Kelly's advice for any kid trying to get to the next level? Doesn't matter high school, college, or NFL.
Oh yeah.
Don't be afraid to work and put the time in. I mean, I told y'all kind of at the beginning, you know, what my story was. I guess I could give you like the full one. I kind of skipped it, but you know, I played football like you guys talking about since I was 7 years old. I was really good at football. Me and my twin brother, we played all the time, and I was the best player. And you know, those kids got big. You know what I mean? And my growth spurt was late, so like, you know, 6th, 7th grade, you know, some of the kids get their growth spurt and they get big then. Puberty hits early for them, and you know, I was left behind. I was kind of mad. I'm like, I've been playing in front of these kids my entire life. They just got a little bigger, so now you're gonna play them instead of me. I was mad. And then my twin brother was better than me. We're both playing running back. He's in front of me. You know, I can't be too mad because he's better than me at that. And I didn't even play my freshman year of high school football. I was so hurt by, things that go on, and kind of like I told, being prejudged. And then, my twin brother played, and I was like, man, I miss it. I miss playing. I miss being with him, playing together and with some of the guys. And I got back into it, but tell them, like, hey, just because you don't play early, don't give up on it, especially young kids. And you get into high school, and you have a bad experience with a coach when you're in middle school, and then like you don't play anymore, and you don't know how you're going to mature and grow, and you put a little work ethic with that, you don't know what you can turn into. So tell people, don't give up because you have one bad experience or one bad year. I mean, fight it out, play all the way through, but also know that you got to put the time and effort in. And my cousin told me, he was like, you can't expect to be better than everyone else doing what everyone else does. So, if that meant waking up early, that's what it meant. Lifting weights when everyone else wasn't, that's what it meant. Catching extra balls when other people weren't doing it, that's what it meant. Running hills and stadiums, because I want to be fast. That's what it meant. That's what I had to do. And I took that into college and passed that. But my advice would be, what the team does with you is the minimum. That's literally the bare minimum. You're going to have to do something extra to be better than the people around you. And then if you want to go to college and pursue that, you're going to have to be better than the people you can't see. You're going to have to outwork people that you can't see, you're not around. Because I explained to them, like, when I got to Clemson, everyone was all state. Everyone was all region. Everyone was the best of the best from their high school. And, like, how are you going to beat them out? And as it goes up, So that's my thing. That's the bare minimum. You're going to have to work harder than just everyone else, really. You have to put in extra work.
Yeah, man. Your story kind of similar to Michael Jordan, man, because his freshman year, too, man, he wasn't doing that well, but he came back. His brother was better than him. He had an attitude, but he came back, and look where he at now. You know what I'm saying? He on top. So congratulations to you, man, for real. Keep going.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Any shout outs to any teachers, former coaches, anybody that paved the way for you along your journey?
Yeah, I mean, my head coach was Ed Dudley. He was a really good guy. I remember, like, in my senior year, while everything was kind of going on, I was playing well. I was, a little frustrated. I'm like, man, when we throw the ball more and stuff like that, like, we need to do some other things. And he was like, Aaron, you could just control what you can control, and maximize what you can. And then I remember, at Clemson, Coach Sweeney, he's now the head coach. I mean, he was my receiver coach before he was the head coach. And he was like the same type of thing. He was like, you got to maximize your opportunities. Because, I mean, he played at Alabama. They didn't throw the ball a lot. Like, my cousin was the running back. Like, they were feeding him the rock. I mean, it's just like, you got to make the most of your opportunities. And that's life in general, because you never know when you're going to get your shot. You kind of have to be ready. And when you get that, you got to make the most of your opportunities. And then, family-wise, those are kind of the two coaches. Like, family-wise, just, having two good parents, and then having, like, role models that actually played the game that kind of showed you that's real. I know a lot of people talk, about athletes in different areas, and whenever I can go out and help, I always do, because they need to see an example of someone that actually did it. So it seems real. It's more realistic when you can see someone that's actually done it and been around them. And every year at Clemson, I used to come back home during the summer. A lot of guys stay for both sessions. I'd come home, and I was fortunate enough to train with Jamal Lewis and Hines Ward and some other NFL guys that kind of showed me what that work ethic needed to be and how to kind of make it in playing football. And then also outside of sports, how to network and talk to different people to learn, different jobs and different aspects to kind of, connect dots in different ways.
That's right, man. It's a key word, connecting the dots.
That's right.
That's what life is about. So, man, we appreciate you coming in, man. It was a great show. You had a lot of encouraging words, a lot of positivity. Great receiver, highly talented. We appreciate your presence being on our network. Also, for everybody that's watching, make sure you subscribe, tune in. We here Tuesday and Thursday on YouTube. Also, you can subscribe on Spotify and Deezer as well. And make sure you follow us on Facebook and Instagram. All right. This is wrapping up the edition of the Sports Shot 27. I'm your host, Jermaine Coulter. We're co-host Kevin Johnson, KJ, and we'd like to thank special guest, former wide receiver, all ACC, one of the career leaders from Clemson and catches and touchdowns, Aaron Kelly. All right. Until next time, you guys wear your mask, stay safe, and we'll see you next time. Okay.
That's all right. Sports Shot 27.
It's not how you start; it's how you finish.
That's right.
All right. Peace.
All right.